Today we got a story time of a gym Karen who accuses the subscriber of quote-unquote looking at her in a sus manner. So the subscriber never actually even realized that Karen was in the gym and probably was just like accidentally glanced over without even paying attention. But the gym Karen like brings up the faculty or staff at the gym and actually tries to get the subscriber banned from that gym. The Karen recorded the whole thing. However, the recording showed that the Karen was totally in the wrong, and it's actually quite funny. That's the story for today. So with that being said, leave a like on the video to claim your free nothing, subscribe if you're new, and let's jump into it. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Aiden. So anyways, Aiden was a senior in high school. So he was around 17, 18 years old at the time. Aiden had been starting to go to the gym last year, so his junior year, and it had become a pretty big part of his life. He's found a lot of benefits from it, and just from my own personal experience, I suggest everybody try some sort of exercise routine that is consistent. You'll have a lot of benefits, not just besides looking better. A million things. Anyways, so this story all happened one day when Aiden was going to the gym, as always. So when Aiden's in the gym, he really does just keep his attention to himself. He has a podcast or music that he listens to. Today was, back and shoulders day, so he had a lot of things he wanted to hit. He didn't have the most time as, he was still, a busy high school student, dealing with college stuff, dealing with a relationship, dealing with stuff, all of that kind of stuff, right? So he was like, when he went to the gym, he didn't necessarily have the most time, so he kind of stuck to his regiment, his routine. And today, his routine was interrupted by a gym Karen. Anyways, so he was going about his whatever exercise, right? And he is just, I think he's probably doing some kind of exercise, and he's sitting there, and that's when he gets a tap on the shoulder. And he looks up, and there's this gym Karen standing above him, looking at him very angrily. And the thing is, Aiden can kind of see that this person is not really happy looking. So confused, Aiden takes out his earbud and is like, what's up? Aiden probably thinks, oh, I don't know, maybe they want to know how many sets I've left because they want to use the machine I'm using. Maybe they have a question because it looks like I go to the gym a lot, as I do. But instead, the Karen says something that's a little bit concerning to Aiden. The Karen goes on to say, I saw you looking at me and I just want to let you know how uncomfortable that makes me feel. Which I will say, there is actually a genuine concern about making other people feel uncomfortable when in the gym. I'm sure that there is genuinely a problem of, girls being stared at by the very male-dominated gym. I try and do my best when I'm in the gym to make sure I'm very focused on myself. I mean, sometimes I'll space out and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that. You space out for a second, you've actually been staring at someone in their eyes for 20 minutes. You're like, oh, my fault, bro. I'm just not that smart. My brain kind of went into fog mode. The fog arrived, right? But yeah, so, Aiden was like, oh, I'm sorry. I really wasn't doing anything intentionally. I'll try and be more careful. And the Karen was not taking no for an answer. And she's like, people like you are the reason why we can't come to the gym or whatever. And Aiden was genuinely so confused at this moment because he just did not remember this woman at all. He has no recollection of who this is. He never knew that this person existed until right now. So this was just really confusing for him. And he was like, once again, ma'am, I'm sorry. I have no recollection of doing that. I didn't even know you were here, to be honest. I think I just might have looked in your direction by accident, right? And the Karen's like, I know it wasn't an accident, and, you're not going to get away with this. And, Aiden's like, well, what do you even mean by that? Because I don't know, saying you're not going to get away with that kind of has some stronger implications than just can you not stare at me? I don't know, it's pretty bold for her to go up to him anyways, but even then, he was just so taken aback. Yeah, so anyways, the Karen is just not letting him go. And remember, this is mid-set. Remember, Aiden does not have a lot of time to do any of this stuff. So Aiden, I don't know, he's kind of feeling all right now, I get that this was I get you're upset or whatever, but what am I going to do? So Aiden says, you know what, I apologize. I didn't even realize I was doing it. Let's just leave it at that. And the Karen is like, let's just leave it at that? Oh, I don't think so. You're trying to snake out of this. You're trying to get out of responsibility. And I don't know, Aiden felt kind of bad because he's like, well, maybe she had a bad experience before where some guy tried to hit on her at the gym. And just a little advice, guys, if you do go to the gym, which I do suggest you do, don't try and pick anyone up at the gym. I don't know. I just feel like people are there for a reason. There might be like, maybe you can, but I just feel like most of the time, like, especially if you're looking at someone, like, just, they're there for a reason. Maybe if you catch them at, like, a local coffee shop right outside the gym, or I don't know, just look, they're in the gym for a reason. Don't try and talk to them like that. That's just my advice, but whatever. So Aiden feels kind of bad, but then the Karen is like, you bet you can't leave, like, you better stay right here. And I don't know, like, Aiden was like, okay, sure, I'll stay right here. I mean, Aiden didn't have any plans of going anywhere else because he was still in the middle of his workout. So he's like, fine, whatever. So what happens is the Karen ends up going, like, apparently had taken video proof of, like, oh, this is video proof, quote unquote, that I don't know, that I was, like, staring at her or whatever, and the Karen had, like, recorded him or something, which, first of all, recording other people in the gym, that's where it gets suspect in the first place. And the gym actually had very strong rules about not recording other people. However, I'm sure even if the Karen did know, she probably thought to herself, well, I'm taking video proof of him staring at me, so it's justified. Well, let's just say that the Karen was about to speak to the manager in very typical Karen fashion. So anyways, Aiden has no idea that the Karen's about to go to the manager right now, but Aiden just continues on working at the gym. He's a little thrown off, and he can literally feel it in the sets that he's doing, that he's just not performing as well, because it's just uncomfortable to know that you made someone feel, not good about you. I don't know, even if it wasn't intentional, it's still kind of, you feel pretty bad if you've ever made someone feel uncomfortable, even if it's on accident, right? So Aiden's just a little bit thrown off, but he also knows for a fact that he wasn't doing anything wrong intentionally, and that, he knew that he wasn't, like, staring at her for minutes and minutes along. Like, maybe he glanced at her for a second by accident. Like, I accidentally make eye contact with people all the time, like in the gym, at class, whatever. I just accidentally, like, look into their eyes and they look back. It happens. Like, that's just what happens. But, like, Aiden feels like, okay, I wasn't, like, I wasn't, like, spacing out for a long period of time, so I kind of know that, like, I didn't really do anything wrong here. Anyways, though, so the Karen returns, and Aiden watches as the Karen walks back into the gym, or at least the section of the gym that he was at. This time, she was not alone. So a guy in kind of a more dressed up, he wasn't in, like, I don't know, a tuxedo or something, but he was dressed up. A guy who was, like, more dressed up, at least not in unnecessarily gym clothing, or maybe if it was gym clothing, not your standard gym clothing, definitely, like, maybe you put on clothes to go to the gym, but then had a meeting right afterwards, you know what I mean? But yeah, so the guy comes down and the Karen points at Aiden from, like, across the gym, and Aiden starts to realize, okay, this guy might be someone who works here. So the Karen and the manager walk over, and the manager's like, hey, like, I got some reports from, this woman over here that you were making her feel really uncomfortable. And Aiden's like, hey, like, I'm so sorry, like, I did not mean to do any of that. I didn't even know that, like, I didn't even, like, recognize actively that this woman was here until she came up to me with, the problem. And the manager's like, okay, well, we want to make sure that everyone feels good here. And, like, I don't know, like, I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable in my gym. And, that Aiden was like, yeah, no, I mean, I totally get that. I'll be more careful, like, not to space out. But I definitely wasn't intentionally staring or trying to, like, flirt or do anything along those lines. And the Karen kind of looks at the gym manager and then is like, are you really going to let him get away with this? So the Karen was really pushing for Aiden, some guy that she had never met before, to kind of, like, get, I don't know, to get kicked out. She really wanted him to, like, pay the price for this, like, kind of imaginary event that went on in her head. And the gym manager's like, okay, well, I don't know what else to say, like, I don't think I can just kick him out for this. Like, I mean, if we get another complaint from someone, then this will, we'll probably yes. Like, basically he's trying to say, okay, it doesn't seem like this guy's really doing that much. It's a tough situation for the manager because this kind of Karen just kind of, like, comes up and says this guy's being weird. And in a lot of cases, like, you should definitely take, you should take people seriously when they say this stuff. But it also kind of looked like Aiden was kind of keeping to himself. I don't know. The manager was in a tough kind of position. He was like, hey, man, like, I just want to let you know, like, this is kind of like, if you get one more strike, we can't have you back in the gym, that type of situation, right? And the Karen was like, no, like, this is unacceptable. And she says, you know what? I actually have video proof. So this was kind of the weird thing, right? Because Aiden did not realize he was being videotaped. And Aiden's like, what? And there's a really, like, not very strong, but there was a rule at the gym, like, no videotaping under any circumstances. Obviously, if a guy is being creepy or approaching you or something and you need proof, totally fine. Like, the gym would definitely be like, okay, well, I get what you did in this situation. However, it's pretty funny when they actually look at the video footage. So anyways, the Karen takes out her phone and it shows a video of Aiden just doing one of his sets, right? And Aiden immediately feels uncomfortable, right? Because, like, he had no idea that someone was, like, sneakily recording, right? And real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment video down below. Yeah, secret word is video. So while you're in the comment section commenting video down below, check out the pinned comment, as there's a link to a Spotify in which I upload all these stories as podcasts, as well as links to 2 other channels I upload daily on, so subscribe to both of those. Anyways, let's get back to it. So the Karen pulls up this video and shows Aiden and the manager video of, like, Aiden finishing one of his sets. Then he's, like, done. He goes in, he, like, taps something on his phone because he's, like, I don't know, changing songs, maybe skipping ahead in a podcast, I don't know. Gets his, like, water jug, like, takes a sip or whatever, and, like, you can see that he looks over for literally a millisecond. Doesn't he, like, it's hard to tell if you make eye contact because the video POV is from the phone, so it's not like your eyes are recording. Aiden literally glances over for a quick second, and then, like, glances somewhere else, and then looks down, and then gets ready to do another set. Like, it is so obvious from the video that the guy is just, like, that Aiden, the subscriber, is just kind of nonchalantly looking around. I mean, you're kind of supposed to look around at your surroundings, bro. And it's so obvious that he wasn't staring or being weird or being creepy or anything. So then, right, the Karen is like, there, did you see that? Did you see that? It's almost like that scene in The Incredibles, the first movie, in the very beginning, when Dash puts a tack on his teacher's seat, but he does it so quickly that you can't even tell, and he's, like, looking back at the recording, being like, you guys saw that, right? That's not just me. You guys saw that. And everyone just didn't see it because they didn't realize he had superpowers, right? So the manager's like, okay. So the manager kind of turns to the Karen and is like, hey, ma'am, like, I'm sorry. To me, it doesn't look like he was looking at you, or maybe if he did, it seemed like he was just kind of glancing over. Look, here's the thing, just, I don't know, turns to Aiden, he's like, hey, man, just, I don't know, keep your eyes on your own stuff. Just want to make sure everyone feels comfortable. And he kind of turns to the Karen, he's like, hey, ma'am, this just really isn't enough for us to kick him out, since it really didn't seem intentional, and it didn't seem like he was looking for that long. It kind of seems like you just kind of caught his glance by accident. And the Karen gets, like, really angry, and she's like, I'm never coming back to this establishment ever again. I'm telling all my friends that this place is full of creepy guys, all this kind of stuff, right? And Aiden is just, first of all, he's just so uncomfortable because of just, I don't know, like, being recorded, which I think the manager was probably going to bring up the fact that, like, hey, also, you can't be just recording people. Like, that's against our rules. But I think the manager was kind of expecting the Karen to have, like, a meltdown or something, or freak out. And the Karen, sure enough, was like, I'm never coming back. I'm telling all my friends this is the worst place ever. And the manager's like, well, I mean, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, we're just doing what we can do, right? So the Karen storms out. You guys might be thinking, oh, the story must end here. It does not. Because there's about to be a really juicy twist that's about to come up that kind of explains this situation, right? Because the Karen did not feel like, here's the thing. The Karen didn't actually feel like Aiden was staring at her. The Karen had something against Aiden personally, figured out which gym he came to, and then tried to force a recording to try and get him, suspended from his gym, because he knows her, because, like, she knows that he likes the gym, and she wants him to suffer. You guys might be thinking, whoa, this is about to get juicy. Yeah, so here's the thing. Aiden gets up, and after he's done with his workout, there's, like, a kind of a coffee shop type thing that is, like, it's like attached to the gym. It's, like, right next to it, and it's not like, I think they're owned by the same person who owns the gym, so you can literally walk out of the gym straight into this coffee shop, and they have a lot of sports type drinks, so they have, like, kind of like rejuvenation, regen type potions. They have the they got the Chug Jug from Fortnite. You already know how it is. But anyways, right, so he gets up there, and he kind of sits down, and he has, like, 10 minutes before he has to go, because his workout was interrupted. He normally likes to spend a bit more time there, just kind of chill. I don't know, drink something to regen all the stuff, all the sweat he lost, so, like, I don't know, sodium, I don't know, right? And while he's sitting there, this girl comes up to him and sits down, and it's like, hey, like, I'm sorry about what happened in the gym today. And he's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, oh, like, I know that girl who came up to you. Like, there's more to the story than you think. So obviously, if someone comes up to you and says there's more to the story than you think, your ears are going to perk up and you're going to pay attention. So Aiden's like, oh, okay, what do you mean by that? So she's like, okay, so that girl was best friends with Claire. So who is Claire, you might be asking? Basically, Aiden has been in a relationship with a new girl who we don't even need to give a name because she's not super important to this story for about 6 months. But before that, he was in a relationship with this girl named Claire for almost 2 years. The relationship went south though. You know, over time, he kind of realized that Claire was not the sweet girl that she kind of portrayed herself to be. She became really clingy, really kind of like overbearing, would search through his phone, would kind of break his trust all the time, would try and manipulate him, would do all the things of like a bad relationship. So Aiden eventually decided that it wasn't right for him and ended it. And Claire, unbeknownst to Aiden, had a really good friend, or a close friend, we're going to call Stacy. Stacy was the gym Karen. And basically, Claire knew how much, like, Aiden, because, like, Aiden had been going to the gym for about a year, so in the very end of their relationship, she noticed, like, how important that was to him, and Claire, who was still kind of, like, angry about the whole thing, decided to set up her friend to try and ruin something that Aiden had going for him. Yeah, so, when Aiden was kind of just sitting there, just absorbing everything, and he's just so shocked. And, this girl is like, yeah, and so Stacy was basically tasked to go to the gym, try and like figure out when you came. So apparently she's come a couple other times and like she just recently figured out your schedule or whatever. And come when you're at the gym, try and record you like and try and make it look like you were like staring at her or making her uncomfortable. And the goal was to get you kicked out of the gym. And the goal was when you get kicked out of the gym, you're going to become like, because basically Aiden was kind of like overweight and out of shape before. And it really must have stung with Claire because basically Claire got in a relationship when he was less fit, and they left the relationship, and then he got really jacked or whatever. So Claire kind of wanted to get revenge by basically kicking him out of the local gym, and there wasn't another gym that was nearby that would have made a lot of sense or would have been really easy to get to. Basically so that Aiden would lose all the progress he had made, feel really bad about himself and all this kind of stuff, and then have his new girlfriend break up with him maybe because he wasn't as fit or whatever as he was before, which I think his new girlfriend is a lot better of a person than Claire ever was, so I don't think she would have broken up with him just over that. So yeah, Aiden is just kind of sitting there just shocked at what he's hearing, and this girl is like, look, I shouldn't be saying this stuff to you, but, you know, I'm kind of friends with the group of girls that are friends with Claire. That's the name we'll say. I think that's the name of his ex. We'll say that's the name of his ex, right? We're kind of friends with her, and she's been brooding about you for months now. And she was like, before I was kind of on her side, but it just seems like over time I'm listening, and it really seems like she was the problem in the relationship. And when she went out to do this, it just seems so cruel and mean-spirited, and I don't know, like an attack on your health and your personal well-being just seemed like it went really too far. And the fact that she was going to frame you for something like that's an actual problem and like try and get you set up and kicked out of a place that I see as like very therapeutic for you, I don't know. I couldn't, I don't know. I just had to come and make sure that things didn't go the way that they wanted. And she's like, I got there and it's already too late. Stacy went up to you and was talking to you, and I could just tell. And I just needed to see how things went out. And if maybe you were going to get kicked out, I'd try and step in, but I don't know how much I could actually do. And Aiden's like, you know what? I just appreciate you coming forward and telling me this. Like, this is really important context. Thanks for letting me know. And the girl's like, all right, well, if you could, I was never here. You know, I don't want to get like disowned from my own friend group, which I probably would if they figured out I was even talking to you. Not even like that I was just telling you their secrets, but just the fact that I was talking to you is probably enough to get me disowned. So yeah. And Aiden's like, yeah, I got you. No problem. So Aiden sits down, she walks away, and he's just like, wow. Okay then. Click on a video on screen right now to help out the channel and like the video. Peace.